kind of screwed that way. Also, you have, the massive amounts of repair, which is why you can only get 1 or 2 footies, because you'll have, like, the lineup of peons right behind repairing the watchtower, so you won't be able to get, good positioning on that. So, pretty much what this allows you to do is to actually leave your base to fend for itself, and all you really have to do is make sure that you don't really lose any mini burrows, and, hopefully that you don't lose your arcane vault. And all you really have to do is kind of micro your tower. And to micro your tower, the best thing to do is probably set your hotkey to 0, because not many people use 0, I guess. And then, hopefully, you can just go, double-click the 0 and then right-click a caster, and then go back to whatever you were doing. And with the watchtower, if you're outside of your base by the time they actually come, the one great thing that the watchtower allows you to do is base trade really well, because all they can really do is hope to get 1 or 2, burrow or tower kills. And by 1 or 2, I mean like a tower and a burrow, or 2 burrows, or 2 towers, if you're building that many. So Lin does the smart thing is he goes straight to his Voodoo Lounge and picks up some items. And he's also picked up some healing scrolls, which is always good to have with you, especially with Spirit Link, because it really allows for easy, heal scroll micro. So that's always a good thing to have. Once again, notice how far back Todd's towers are. Just shows you how ridiculously good, the watchtower is in your favor. So Lin does the smart thing is he's got enough wood to fend off for a while, so he's going to be using his peons to battle. And already there's been 2 or 3 cases of slow cast on his peons, which is great, because this way they cast so much less on your hero or your units and your heroes, and really sorcerers that are still initiate go through a lot of mana really quickly. So pretty much all they have to regen is a whole bunch of Brilliance Aura, which is all they can really do anyways. So pretty much Lin has really nice positioning, and what you really have to do when being tower pushed is make sure that you know when to focus their towers. And this is what Lin is doing very well, is he's noticed that his peons have pretty good positioning on him, so he might as well focus down one tower and kind of back off, because most of his units were kind of behind his peons anyways, except for 1 or 2 grunts, which is great for him, because this way his peons will make a little shield, a human shield, or an orc shield, I guess, if you will, that kind of fends off Todd's units, so that he can't really get in good enough position to beat down some of his units, so that he could take down a tower. So really, knowing when to focus down a tower is really important, and you really have to try and get them before they're upgraded, because they only have like 300 HP and 0 armor compared to 505 armor. So right now Todd's doing the smart thing, which is he's doing a base trade, and really a TP trade, my bad. And really he's kind of forcing Todd to either go for a base trade or, come in TP and try and save his base. So Lin does a smart thing is he TP's out, because he won't be able to save his TC. And also the good thing about this is now he can take out Todd's towers. So this way, the watchtower kind of fended him off long enough so that he could get to the other side of the map and do some damage to his buildings. And really, as a human player, you really don't want to be doing a base trade against an orc with raiders and grunts, because grunts still do fair amounts of damage to fortified. I think they do 70% damage. So, you really have to gauge whether or not you can either win the base trade or you're screwed as all hell. So really, if you're going to be doing a base trade as an orc, it's kind of a do or die strategy, because really that leaves your base so much more open, and the only thing that you can really do is hope that your base doesn't get killed and that theirs does, because they already have towers at your side. So really, it's going to be a pain in the ass to kill one base and then come back and kill a couple more towers, especially because he'll be building other buildings there, because he has his peons. So once again, here's where the base build comes in. It kind of makes Todd commit to trying to kill this tower, and notice how he doesn't even get it down. All he does is get 1 burrow. So sure, the 160 gold kind of pays off, and the timing, because Lin just started going into low upkeep, so it's kind of a bitch. But it's still a pretty nice base build to have. Also, Todd is trying to set up another tower once again, because he's tower happy like that, I guess. So, really, this battle is going to be based on the fact that Lin has actually a kind of superior army. I'm going to look at food counts. Actually, they're kind of the same. So, the only thing that's different is the fact that, they both have healing scrolls, but the one thing is that Lin won't be having his peons with him because he's lost multiple amounts of them. So, it kind of limits his, ability to dispel because he has to spend so much more dispel on his actual grunts than, other units. So, he's got a real buttload of Spirit Walkers here. This is pretty good because this way he can actually spend a whole bunch of his dispels on the summons as opposed to just, worrying about trying to get rid of the slow. Generally, when you have Spirit Walkers, the one thing that you want to do is try and, waste all of your, dispels on the slow that's being casted because, if you don't have enough Spirit Walkers to get rid of the slow in the first place, you really want to save it for certain times as opposed to what Lin is doing here. And sure, he loses his Farseer, but he gets rid of the Beastmaster, and he's doing a really good job of just keeping his positioning for his Spirit Walkers and really taking down a whole bunch of units with his nice speed scroll use. The only thing that I can say that's going wrong here is that he's losing a bunch of grunts, and really grunts are the only counter that you have that are solid against Spellbreakers. Now, he makes a really important decision. Whenever you're going to the tavern to buy a hero back, it's kind of an important decision to be making because really you have a half hit point hero running loose, you have no mana, and you probably don't have a TP, and in Lin's case you don't have a TP, and really it costs like twice the amount of gold. So you really have to be really cautious about what you do with your hero. Of course, he's going to lose it here, which sucks, but, it's kind of a decision that you want to really think about before you make. If you are going to do something at the tavern, you really have to make sure it's the right decision to do and that it's do or die. Generally, the only hero that I'd bring back is like a Demon Hunter or, a Blade Master. Something that requires very little mana to actually manipulate and do some damage with. Because if you do something like a Farseer, they have so little HP anyways, and pretty much they're based on the fact that they have mana. So, without the Wolves and the Chain Lightning, all your Farseer is really good for is chasing down individual units that are already weak. You're not really going to be doing massive amounts of damage with a 0 mana Farseer anyways. So Lin is kind of doing a interesting type of trade here. He's just focusing down a breaker with his Tauren Chieftain and his Raider. He does hit level 5, which is very, very important. Level 5 TC means that, especially with, no Farseer around to soak up any more EXP, you really have to be careful on, what you let him kill, because already he's like 2/3 on the way to a level 3 or level 6. And when a Tauren Chieftain hits level 6, that's a GG, son. So you really have to be careful once a hero hits level 5 that they don't hit level 6. Except unless it's like an Archmage. All you really have to worry about the Archmage then is that he'll retrain for Blizzard or something, because really you have the ability to stop him from casting his mass TP crap. So all you have to do is ensnare